Alrighty, hello. This is Narrative Tarot. Welcome to the Virgo full moon reading for February 2021. So this reading, like I said, is going to be for the Virgo full moon reading. We are in Pisces season now, which is like excellent. And this is just going to give us a little bit of a heads up into the space. This is not a pick a card reading, but, hope you enjoy. Anyway, comment, like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Subscribing just keeps you in the know. Excuse me, I do full and new moon readings. I do planet readings for every month. That's for people who have, like, particular planets that are aspected in their natal chart, or they're feeling like when they go through the transits, they're being affected depending on what planet that they choose. So check those out. I do book reviews and things like that, and just general discussions and topics and opinion. So let's see. I'm using my Cloud deck and Hermetic Tarot, since Virgo is a mercurial sign, and this is a deck that I like to use for Mercury readings. Okay, so kind of just general energy. Alright, with Virgo, there's a little bit of impatience, so let's get into it. So we have lower world, upper world, and so this is the upper world, lower world. Each pair may be its own story, or it may be part of the larger whole when you combine all of the 6 cards together, or the 3 pairs. So we have the 10 of Cups and the Last Judgment. So making the Last Judgment is very hard to do, but it's also very rewarding. So I think that as opposed to kind of a lower vibe and a higher vibe, they work together. Making the Last Judgment, making the call, making the movement to do better, be better, really helps you with this full moon in Virgo, right? So it really helps you to move forward. It really helps you to find peace. And if you're like hearing some dripping, that's the water from the it rained and it's dripping down, and it's kind of a weird set. I don't know how to. It's like a vent, but like I don't know like why it's made like this. I don't know. It's attached to like a chimney thing we have, but so it's just like you making your judgment calls helps serve you getting your 10 of Cups. So once you make the decision to cut out some things, move forward with some things in a very diligent, methodical manner, because this is Virgo, you will get your 10 of Cups. So on here, the 10 of Cups is actually Mars in Pisces. We're actually Venus has actually gone into Pisces, or will be really soon. I think it has gone into it though. And so this is the 10 of Cups. So getting your, I was going to say ecstasy, getting the pinnacle of what you deserve, but it's based on you getting organized and getting ready and making the adjustments that were necessary, and not being too afraid to cut it out. Because sometimes with the Mercury, it might be you're very quick to cut things out, or you're very slow to cut things out. There's a fine, not balance. It's not balance per se, but it's kind of like you have to find the right opportunity window to do these things. If you wait too fast, you wait too long, it's past. If you short tail it, you cut it off before it can grow. You can stunt opportunities like that. And so your last judgment was successful, or it will be successful, and that allows you to get to your 10 of cups. So just make sure that, and you'll know things will kind of click. It'll kind of feel like things successively one after the other happen, as opposed to something happens, there's a gap, something happens, there's a gap. You'll kind of know if you're in your stride with this 10 of cups when things kind of successively are just happening, and you're not necessarily having to do a big sweep of things as well. It's kind of look a good healthy interval between things. It's not really long, right? The longer you wait in between stuff, the more you can kind of like you can kind of get anxious or distracted or lose faith or something like that. And so just being consistent, showing up consistently, that helps. That makes it better. It makes it way, 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 way better. We have the Devil and Fortitude. So actually in this time, because the Devil is Capricorn, kind of, I don't want to say letting things kind of work out and like play into that energy, but I would say at least the Devil is consistent. Lee trying to do what the hell he's trying to do. But that Capricorn energy, just making sure that you are not trying to force your way through things with this Leo card, making sure you're not trying to force your way through, you're not trying to force anyone to do it, just do your own thing, making sure you know your own knowledge, your own truth before you try to beat it over someone else's head. Just make sure you know your own knowledge and your own truth. And so the Devil knows its own truth. It knows what it's supposed to do. It knows where it's supposed to go. And that helps you. When you know all of that stuff, you are able to go forward and be a much better person, because your things are guided, and so the actions that you take don't have those huge intervals due to self-doubt, due to lack of discipline, due to like excommunication essentially from yourself. You're not spending that time having to go to workshops and therapy on yourself. You've kind of already done the work essentially, and now it's a little better, a little smoother sailing. And so it's not like you don't have hiccups, but it's because you're so rooted and grounded. You kind of have a really good process going. Your ability to communicate with yourself is very clear, and then your ability to communicate with other people is very clear as well. Even if we're in Pisces season, we're wrapping up Mercury retrograde, so that helps. Starting in March, we're wrapping that up so we can see clearly, and then we're able to organize with this full moon in Virgo. And so that's energy that we're putting out, organizing, making sure that we're doing everything that we need to do, taking care of day-to-day matters, day-to-day tasks, things that other signs, other people would put on the back burner. We're actually taking ownership over. We're stepping up to the plate. We're taking those. Make sure that you're not taking on more than you can chew, but make sure that you're taking care of your responsibilities, because they're your responsibilities and no one else's. If you need help, that's different from just abandoning them altogether and thinking that someone is going to do those things. Lastly is Temperance and the Four of Wands. So Temperance with the Four of Wands, I would say the Four of Wands is like, yeah, action, moving forward, yeah. But Temperance is a little more weary of doing that without it being very aligned with self. So the Four of Wands, I feel like, definitely helps you to channel and direct your energy, but I do kind of feel like it's a little more embodied with the Temperance. It's a little more embodied with the Temperance. I don't know if I showed this. So, Temperance, 4 Wands. I don't remember. But it feels a little bit more embodied. It feels a little bit more you're actually a participant, as opposed to this 4 Wands feels like it's happening. I mean, you're doing it, but you're it's like using a microwave. I'm looking at the microwave now. Using a microwave as opposed to a stove. So like when you use the 4 Wands, you're using the microwave. Like it'll get food cooked, it'll get things done, it'll move things forward, and it actually is very great for time. It's generally successful. You can watch it. You have a little bit of control over it and stuff like that. But there is a sense of like removal away from it, and the thing is doing its own job, or like releasing an arrow, because these things look like arrows to me. The beaks and all that stuff looks like arrows to me. And this is like having to use a sword. Like it doesn't leave your hand. It doesn't leave you. You have to literally direct it and then follow through with it with the blade, the sword in hand. Or for the stove analogy, you have to turn on the stove. You have to get the pot. You have to put it on there. You have to watch everything heat up. You have to constantly stir. You have to make sure and keep an eye on it. It's not that the microwave, you don't have to do that stuff, but you're actually touching the thing in kind of like real time, as opposed to watching it play out a little bit. There's just a little bit of distance with that, right? And so being embodied, being a little more in your body with regards to these decisions, stepping up to the plate, showing up, putting in effort, putting in all the alchemical processes or elements needed to make that process work. That's what's that's what's rewarding. And with this full moon in Virgo, it's rewarding because you're putting a lot of effort in, and therefore your experiences reflect that effort that you've put in. And the clarity of purpose and intent and action, the swiftness with which you make decisions, decisiveness with which you make decisions helps. So for me, Virgo and Pisces sit on the axes of experiences. Your psychological experiences for Pisces and your lived day-to-day experiences with Virgo, and they go hand in hand with one another. And you can definitely tell the state of your life by the state of a lot of your experiences. And so directing that energy, making sure you're communicating, making sure that you're not having, it almost feels like neurological breakdowns, or that everything's firing together. So if you do take any medicine for any mental things, make sure that you're taking it consistently. Make sure that you're communicating with your doctor. If you're not taking it, make sure every dose is correct. Just make sure you have the right thing as far as that's concerned, because that's going to really help you for the month ahead. And it'll keep you firing on all cylinders, and just your whole process, just make sure that you're refining it and tweaking it, and it'll carry you a really long time. Now, you may also have a certain process that you use to get to a specific goal, and then after that goal you don't really use it anymore. That's okay, but just make sure you stick with it, you follow through, you know what it is, you're intentional about it, you don't waver, you don't waffle, you are confident in what it is, because that energy, that confidence will carry over, and it will help you in the coming months. So this is the second part of the reading using the cloud deck. And so we do the day before, the day of, 6 months after, and then 6 months after, and then a year. So the day before is the windy. Now, if you were about to lose your confidence, or lose whatever it is, make sure that you keep all your papers for some reason. Make sure that if you're outside, locking your papers up, putting them in folders and things like that, making sure that you have all those things together and safe and tucked in, because she's kind of tucked in. Safe and tucked in files, things like that. Do that. Make sure that you aren't having it everywhere. So start consolidating all of the information that you need, consolidating all of the items, whatever it is, because Virgo is very much about day-to-day processes, office work. And, office work gets done a lot faster and a lot easier, and everybody's way more efficient when everybody does their part. They keep their desk clean. They know where everything is. They know the numbers. Departments talk to one another. It's a little bit of a perfectionism because that doesn't always work out the way that we think. We spill coffee. We drop things. We're in the middle of a call and we knock over something on our computer, have to wipe it off. Things happen, but if you're a klutz, maybe don't put the coffee next to your computer. Maybe put it on the other side. If you know that you're running out of paper, order some, or go down to the department that gives out supplies and talk to them like, hey, I need some paper. Organize, dust your desk if you're allergic to stuff or you have allergies. Just make sure that you're doing the stuff that helps keep you up and that it keeps your experience a little more positive, or you can deal with the things a lot better, right? If you have a system crash, but everything was kind of like backed up, or you have the files somewhere else, or you made paper files, it's a lot easier in the future to go ahead and proceed forward, even if you have to do things by hand, because you have the information. Passwords, safe codes, stuff like that. Make sure that that's taken care of as well. The day of the power. So the day of, if you're a Virgo especially, you probably, or a Virgo moon, or Virgo 12th house, maybe even 6th house, you probably are feeling a lot of power. You're feeling a lot of energy. You're probably really affected, a little bit happy from this picture that we have here. You're happy that everything's going to plan, everything's moving for you. You're kind of the worker bee. You may not be sitting down. You may be just working, going everywhere. People are quite amused as opposed to upset and annoyed by your actions. And that's because probably after that Mercury retrograde, everybody is just, their tensions are relieved, particularly if you were in high stakes situations. People's attitude probably are leaving, or you're able to communicate it, or they're able to see the real you, or they're able to see your humility as opposed to seeing it through the prism of, oh, this person is just arrogant, or they're just cranky, or they're always perfectionist, they always are fault finding with people, judgmental. I think they're seeing you for your actual virtues as opposed to your vices. And that's a great thing when people can do that. We all have vices, but seeing someone just all the way through their vices it makes a portrait of them that isn't fully accurate. And it just, you can't just always look at somebody through that lens. It doesn't work. It's not conducive. Next we have the Libra for 6 months later. So the Libra, it could be Libra season when you start to see this stuff. So Libra comes right after uh, Virgo, and you might see results that are quicker than you expect with this. So things are balanced, things are moving, they're working themselves out, and they may start to appear at least a month after, even though this is the 6 month card. You might start to see the fruits come up, or some indication that the thing was successfully planted very soon. And this is because everything that you've done has been in order and has been done right and done well and consistently kept up to where everything really can work out the way that it's supposed to work out without any hitches or hiccups majorly, particularly because you put in that effort to not hick it up yourself. So if people are kind of doing their thing, I would advise you, as far as like they're kind of hitching, they're creating a hitch in the process, just understand that because you did your part really, really well, other people may see that and see that they need to step their game up and they need to make sure that they're on point, or you're just going to have to deal with them not being as on point as you. And so I would say with the Libra, just stay balanced. Don't create any disharmony through your dissatisfaction with other people, particularly if they're not on your level at that point, because you could start to create some hiccups for yourself with the judgmental and the critical nature and almost arrogant kind of nature. People may not like that, and they may attempt to derail whatever it is that you have, right? Like I said, Virgo and Pisces are on the axes of experiences, your psychological and your day to day, sorry. And so if you have a hiccup, don't stay too long in that energy of disappointment or anything like that. It's okay to be disappointment, but prolonging it may just mess up some things. And particularly if you kind of know that it's going to work out all right, it's going to be okay, just make sure that you're not extending your anger or your disappointment past a certain point, because it really isn't going to matter too much. Okay, cool. And lastly, we have the flower for a year later. So everything bloomed. That's great. Everything bloomed. It came to fruition. You were able to complete this successfully. So if this was a longer term thing, it does come to fruition. It may not be the flower that you were hoping for. It may be a seed in there that surprises you. You know, you thought you were getting just tulips, and then something else pops up right along with it. And you're like, what? So you may just get back what you put in, double, triple, whatever. It may not be with money. It just may be with like recommendations, networking, acquaintances, references, things like that. It may be those things, being seen for your work, being seen as a valuable player, a valuable teammate, a valuable partner in life. That's what you're seen as. You're seen as someone who's capable of blossoming, and through their efforts and hard work and the way that they work and the way that they show up, you're able to enhance the lives of those around you. And that's a great thing to know, that you can do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to be arrogant to know that you put in effort in such a way that it enhances other people's lives. You do your job and you make the world a better place. You make it a more beautiful place. You make it a better place for people who are suffering, who are in pain, things like that. You don't have to be like a doctor or anything like that, but people don't know how de-stressing it is, particularly when you deal with like Virgo and energy. Like, Virgo energy is like the office clerk, you know, the receptionist. Not that they can't be higher ranking or higher up, but I feel like it's more that day to day, like the people behind the scenes that get the job done. So, like when you go to get licenses, when you go to get registrations, when you go to get permits, when you go to get like government paperwork and stuff like that, like that Virgo energy, when things are working, when people want to be there, when people want to show up, when people want to put their effort and energy, you don't know as a worker sometimes how like helpful that really is, because people call agencies and representatives and all of these like hotlines and phone lines and stuff like that, not really expecting the best, expecting to be held up, expecting to have things put on hold, because sometimes the people that get in these jobs and stay in these jobs don't want to be there. They don't care. They don't care if you have a problem. They don't care if you have an issue. Some people go out of their way to redirect you to the wrong department. They hang up on you. They put you on hold for 30 minutes. You send them requests for stuff. They don't have it. Things like that. Like, so when you are on your shit on a day-to-day basis, when it comes to stuff like this, like it really helps people. Like it really does. It helps people. So even if you feel like your job is small and insignificant, if something passes through your desk and you're able to do it efficiently, effectively, and solve issues in a quarter of the time, or even just on time, like that helps people a lot, because there are people that are calling these things, like I said, they may not like the experiences that they've had. They may be going through things where like this is a life or death. Like if they don't get it sent somewhere within 2 days or 3 days or whatever, like their whole career could be done. They may not get into the school they want. Like it's high stakes, and I don't think people really understand like how high stakes stuff like that can be. But like I said, playing your part, showing up, doing your job, doing your work, making it a pleasant experience for yourself so that you're not angry at people and stuff like that, helps people calm down. So thank you for watching this, I was gonna say new moon, full moon in Virgo reading. I hope that you have gained something insightful from this. Comment, like, subscribe. Definitely comment down below. And I will see you in the next video. Talk to you guys later. Take care.